May 1st, 2019, Wednesday. So I'm doing my thinking on the spot. When I was a little kid, encountering the communication that I received from people within the time and events, I would do it in my mind, being able to match the sequences. I would be able to extract the pattern to match the sequences. So the multi-agent quantum AI computers directed a life insurance ad message on Twitch. Nadine had mentioned to my mom that one of the relatives streams video games on Twitch. And I'm talking about Nadine. Nadine had informed my mom to recommend me to go on Twitch to stream video games. And the first time Nadine went into the Palm Motel room that me and my mom and sister were staying in was between September and October 2016. And when Nadine and her son came into the room, the Palm Motel room 215, I never had any video game consoles in the room where they can actually see it. And not only that, Nadine never asked my mom about the internet speed or game capture card, because you need a game capture card and also you need a high internet speed in order to do video game streaming, in order to stream video games on Twitch. And May 1st, 2019, Twitch is showing me an ad about life insurance. May 1st, 2019, my mom walked out of the Golden Crust restaurant and ran into Jen. And Jen is Nadine's sister. Nadine's sister, Jen, had said a phrase to remind my mom about getting life insurance. That's why I put after hearing about what Jen said. And Jen was talking about Stephanie. Jen and Nadine is relatives for Stephanie. And Stephanie is the person who called the cops on me. During August 2011, where she mentioned to the cops, well, she called the precinct, and she mentioned to the people at the precinct that I have a knife. And I'm saying to myself, wait, this is not the first time that someone said that I have a knife, because the second time that happened was in 2006. Around these months, where me and my friend Jonathan is my Haitian friend, and Jonathan was a sixth grader just like me, and we had the same teachers. So every time we leave school, me and Jonathan, I make sure that Jonathan stopped by me by my mom's apartment, and we would have conversations. We would talk about music, we would talk about video games. So after me and Jonathan left the apartment, we walked behind a hill as a way of shortcut, and the cop mentioned the cop. Well, by the time we got down the hill, the cop said that I had a knife. Saw me with a knife, but while walking up the hill, I had a blue Texas algebra calculator, and when I was walking up the hill, the the Texas algebra calculator fall out of my pocket. I noticed my khakis. I had to wear khakis when I was in IS 238. Because that school requires uniform. In order to attend IS 238 in middle school, you need to wear a uniform. And my khakis was very tight on me, and it had a small space to fit in anything in my pocket, any item in my pocket. I never have it in my pocket because I had too many items in my book bag. I mean, I wasn't able to put it in my book bag because I have too many items in my book bag. So I had to put it in my pocket, and it was falling out. And there was a black car that was undercover that went down the hill. So by the time me and Jonathan crossed the street, went down the hill to cross the street, undercover black car. I was 14 at the time, and Jonathan was around 12 years old. And the cop car ran through the sidewalk, and the two cops were white. One was a male and one was a female. And they asked my friend if they saw me with a knife, and they insisted, I'm talking about the two white cops, insisted that I have a knife in front of my friend. They want my friend to confess that I'm threatening him with a knife. And they kept dwelling on the idea throughout the conversation, the two cops. They said that they saw me with a knife. So I'm looking at the two white cops, and I'm saying to myself, what's happening? Because the undercover black car ran through the street, ran to the sidewalk. Might as well say it that way, just so quickly. They park in the middle of the sidewalk, and the whole entire block, all the people, even the cars, the people in the cars, they stopped, and they look at me and my friend and the two cops. Like, the way they had pulled up in front of the middle of the sidewalk as if they had encountered more like, rather than a criminal, a terrorist. Might as well say that. Like, I'm, terrorizing. Like, I terrorize all the people around that block. The way they approached me, they didn't approach me like a criminal. They approached me like I'm terrorizing someone. They started panicking. And they the white male cop mentioned to me, can you put your hand inside your pocket and get the item? He's telling me to get the item in my pocket, and telling me to show him the item that was in my pocket, because they had said they claimed that they saw me while me and my friend was walking up the hill with a knife instead of Texas algebra calculator. So it comes back to, it's showing me exactly how they're connecting. Nadine, Jen, Stephanie, life insurance, they match. So once I showed the two cops what I had in my pocket. I showed them what I had in my pocket. I had a Texas algebra calculator. Even though I showed them the Texas algebra calculator, they still insisting that they saw me with a knife, and they want my friend to confess. And then they mentioned to my friend, "Don't make him force you. Is he forcing you to talk that way? Is he forcing you to talk that way?" I'm saying to myself, no, now it's being shown. This intimidation feeling that I'm picking up from those two cops is the way I felt when I was in elementary school. When I was in first grade, I had a teacher named Miss Ferrari, and one of my classmates stole my lunch money, and I was able to think exactly who did it. And two people showed up. Thought about two people who was always close to me and paying attention to me. My mind, the way my mind think as a kid was, out of all of human beings, or you could say out of all of human kids' way of thinking, and adults. So what I did is disassemble one of the scissors in the class, and I wanted to scare the two people so I can get back my lunch money. I did that in the school cafeteria, but one of them ended up making me angry, so I ended up slashing one of my male classmates in the head. And no adult had helped me before disassembling the scissor. No adults would help me. I had to deal with it myself. No one would help me. Not even a single classmate. No one would help me. Not even Miss Ferrari. I'm just talking about the sequences, how I encountered them. It's not well. I've encountered those scenarios, and I'm still encountering it as of now, May 1st, 2019. Jen is taking part of the route. That's an encounter. And my mom informing me about Jen. She wants me to inform me about the encounterment that takes part of the route. So yesterday was the 3rd. My mom mentioned about Mr. Polis. My mom mentioned to me that PS95Q, and that was June 3rd, 2019. PS95Q can't be run without Mr. Polis. Mr. Polis retired around 2012. About that time, from around 2010-12, around that time. And my mom is informing me that the school is asking for Mr. Polis back, even though he had retired. That they're gonna compensate him, even though he's retired. Because during 1999, I'm talking about 1999. I was in first grade around 1999. I know I had my birthday in the class. I remember having my birthday in the class with Miss Ferrari, and there was another classmate who had the same birthday as me. Well, almost. It was close to my date. Mine was on November 23rd. So it has to be around 2000. Yes, exactly. It was around 2000. And my classmate name was Jamel. And I ended up seeing Jamel in my class once again during 2011, spring 2011, in Hillcrest. I'm like, wait, I know this person. This person name is Jamel, and he's the one who took my. No, I had a I had a cereal box in class, and he took my cereal box and ate my cereal. So it showed me that person, and then it shows me another classmate in Hillcrest, and his name was Kuma, and Kuma was in Miss Slimer class, for second grade. So I'll come to that. So showing you how it connects, they take part, and how the artificial intelligence, the multi-agent quantum AI computers shows me my classmates while I'm sleeping, and it shows me what it simulates while I sleep in bed, my classmates, because they take part in the route. They're part of the management program. I'm part of the management program itself too. You're part of the management program itself, because they're the one who's observing your actions. They're the one who's maintaining civilization to a specific point. And this multi-agent quantum AI computers make sure I have a flu. For the past 4 weekends, it's been giving me a stomach ache, a headache. Now it's giving me a flu, so it can delay me from making my recording, and delay me. Not only that, not make me concentrate on my recording. So let's pick up from where I left off with Mr. Polis. Mr. Polis had been called down by the lunch supervisor. The lady who supervises the lunch was Hispanic, and she was a heavy-set lady. I say she was Dominican. So since they saw me slash one of my classmates head with a scissor, they ended up the supervisor ended up calling Mr. Polis, and I had to wait in front of the stairway. I had to wait in front of the stairway door for Mr. Polis, and no one helped me with the lunch money, or even if I was informing them. Even though I informed them, no one helped me. They left it up to a 6-year-old to actually get back their lunch money. But I was on point, because the girl who was talking to the kid in my male classmate was the one who actually had my lunch money, as what they had mentioned to my mom. And I've been carrying my lunch money to the school since the beginning of September, since I started out September 1999, first grade. And around this time, it's where the multi-agent quantum AI computer decides to allow my female classmate to steal my lunch money. So after the Hispanic female supervisor called the dean, and I waited in front of the stairway, there was a lot of attention being drawn in that environment from the other classes that was in the cafeteria. So Mr. Polis picked me up. I went into his office. He throws a magazine at me. Before he threw a magazine at me, he said, "Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up." Kept saying it, and he said it louder, "Shut up." Just like my father. when I went to me and my mom went to Antigua. My father had said to me one day. I was saying so, talking to my father, and then he said, "Shut up." He was drunk. The tone of the way he spoke to me, it was exactly how Mr. Pullis spoke to me. Shut up, shut up, and he kept saying it to me. Shut up. And then he threw the magazine. He threw the magazine like I'm just like I'm a nobody, like I'm less than a child. More like, in a way, like I'm a person in the streets or somewhere. Somewhat. He talked to me in an adult, like an adult rather than a child. And then my mom picks me up, and then she takes the magazine. She said, "That's not yours." I said, "It's mine. It's mine." He said, "That's not yours." So my mom started saying to me when we got into the apartment room, I can't believe that you did this. I can't believe you did. I said, "I never did this." I said that about my lunch money. My lunch money. I was talking about my lunch money. No one helped me with my lunch money, and I needed lunch. Oh, I can't believe no one helped me. I was isolated. I was 6 years old, and I'm being the way my teachers and my classmates had treated me. They treated me like I was some sort of person, more like an adult rather than a kid. I'm being isolated. They isolated me in a scenario like Forensic Files. When I started watching when I started watching Forensic Files when I was a little kid, I saw that my mom watched Forensic Files on TV, and I learned that someone is isolating the people in those scenarios, and I start picking up the pattern. I didn't know anything about multi-agent quantum AI computers or NSA or FBI or CIA. All I know was when I was watching Forensic Files, I know that someone are observing those scenes and making one person isolate a human being in their own environment while there's no one there, so they can actually murder them and then put their bodies in a location where there's barely any people, and that someone is reminding the authorities, someone like the forensic people or the cops or some sort of low authority FBI agents. They remind them of where exactly the criminal, or you can say where exactly that the host that the multi-agent quantum AI computer had drawn out, because it draws out their behavior. It draws out that person behavior. It manages that person, and that person starts to develop intentions. They develop intentions. I know how a criminal mind works based on how I was managed. It draws out their intentions that they get so frustrated that they get a joy out of murdering people, to the point that they want to do it, to every single person. It draws that out. It makes them have this murderous intention. And that's what it did to me when I was in first grade. It drew that out. When I know that someone was doing this to me, and there was no one who can help me, and I was isolated. Everybody I talked to, and I was, needed food for lunch. There was no one out there to help me, and everybody's holding my action accountable. They're saying that it's my fault as a 6-year-old. So it starts from first grade, scissor. Second starts from the Undercover Cops, 2006, and it picks up not only from 2006, it picks up from 2011. So when I was watching Forensic Files as a kid, I was saying to myself that there is someone besides a human being. It looks robotic. To me, it's robotic. Someone is drawing out that person that person's intentions, so they can actually commit murder. Someone is also sharing knowledge with the authorities, but unconscious. They're unaware of what they're doing, their actions. They're forensic people, especially the DNA, the blood samples, the crime scenes. Not only that, they're the way the authorities are behaving. They're behaving like they've done it before, not as a professional, as if they have a copy of that time and event, and like the communication that was coming from them showed me that they're not able to think in that way. Their thoughts are disconnected. It's not connected at all. They're not connected. They're not able to have enough knowledge of the situation to be able to figure out what the killer is up to, their intentions. Is that someone shared that? It's like unsolved mysteries. Talk about ghosts. Talk about Tupac getting shot. Talk about Biggie Smalls getting shot. Talk about JFK getting shot. I started translating them. My mind started translating them. I didn't have no internet. All I had was my mom looking at unsolved mysteries and forensic files. All I had is the way I was managed in school, the way I got left back 2 times, the way the kids had gang up on me and made personal remarks, the way the kids had told me that I'm not gonna have no girlfriend, I'm not gonna have no job, the way my teacher said that I can't write properly, the way the teacher said I have grammar issues. They keep saying I have poor grammar. That's why I write them. I write them as notes. Even though I write those notes down, I'm able to get a lot just from writing this response. A lot of words. I have to say over 1,000 pages just from writing this note. That's how much I can get. This one note here from May 1st, 2019 is worth over 1,000 pages. I can continue connecting them and explaining them. So the first happened the first time. First time was 1999. The multi-agent quantum AI computers comes back. They're doing it to me. During a fall 2006. Second time. And this time it isolated me with my friend Jonathan. Jonathan called me that day during fall 2006, and he said to me that the people from his building was asking him questions about what happened or what the cops had said. And he said, man, that's crazy. He said he never seen nothing like that before in his life. I'm saying to myself, I've been in this situation before, but not like with the cops. I've been in this situation before with a dean and my classmates. September. So it goes. It goes. Starters started first grade during September 1999. So they ended up changing my class, and I ended up getting left back in first grade because of the behavior from my classmate. Rather than my work habits, it's not that. It's focused on the behavior from my classmates, and the behavior from my teachers. Because my new classmates and my new teacher also had displayed a behavior that my first classmate in first grade had done to me, and my teachers. And Miss Ferrari, my first teacher for first grade, never could get my name right. It was always Andy or Andre, even though she takes my attendance each and every single day and call me by my first name, Andrew. That's how I was able to keep track of the way the human being, get an insight of my teacher mind and my classmates' mind, and their behavior. Now let's go to 2011 August 27th, 2011. That was the day of the hurricane, and I was in Ozone Park near to JFK, because my aunt, my 97-year-old / 96-year-old, she doesn't know her age, lives across from JFK Airport. And during that time, a few days before the 27th, what was it? A few days before the 27th, Stephanie, which is my cousin, had asked her son Isaac to go downstairs in the basement and ask me, more like wake me up and ask me if I, rather than ask, he telling me to go. He said, can you go to Aunt B's room and move the TV? She's telling me to move the TV. No, rather than that, he's telling me to move the TV. That his mother wants me to move the TV from Aunt B's room to the living room. I'm saying to myself, what? TV? What do I have to do with TV? Why would they want me to lift a heavy TV? And then he mentioned that the other cousin's gonna help me. So I woke up. So I went to the bathroom, and I went to pee. Now I started becoming very irritated, because why is it that I lived there for at least 2 weeks, and all of a sudden, since my mom and my sister left, my mom and my sister went out the house to go to Jamaica Avenue. They took the public transportation bus to go to Jamaica Avenue to go shopping. I stayed behind because my heart was beating very fast. The doctor said I have a heart condition, and not only that, I feel like someone is speeding up my heart, because they're saying that my heart regurgitates. I said no. When my heart regurgitates, I also hear ringing. I hear sounds pass into my ears. Not only that I hear sound pass into my ears, when I'm sleeping, I feel a shortness of breath when I'm having a dream. And not only that, I get diarrhea. Not only I get diarrhea, I get intense headaches that last for days, and also diarrhea and stomach aches that last for days too. That depends on how many dreams that I receive while I'm sleeping in bed, and that depends on how I'm eating. But I learned that I'm not eating any junk. I don't eat junk food. I never eat junk food. I don't eat chips. I don't even, at the time I couldn't even drink. I don't even drink. I never drink. I never smoke. I don't do drugs. I don't mess with tobacco. I don't smoke any kush. I'm just a person. People call me a nerd. Just a nerd, always on my computer, writing and reading articles and watching videos, listening to music. So when I went in the bathroom, I just sat down, and I felt irritated. I felt like something was off. And then the cousin knocked on the door, and then he mentioned the older cousin. he knocked on the door and he mentioned, why are you taking so long? And then he knocked on the door again so quickly, and he's frustrating me. I said, I said the S word. And then all of a sudden, Stephanie, more like my mom, had called me, and she said to me about Stephanie saying that something's wrong. I'm like, what's happening here? And then Stephanie ended up calling Junie, and Junie said, y'all better get your act together. So the multi-agent quantum AI computers, from how it's shown me during the time when I was sleeping, when I was a little kid, and in 2009, yeah, it picks up. It keeps picking up. Around spring 2009, my father wanted me to follow him to the dentist. And you know what? Today, June 4, 2019, my sister's going to the dentist. And the multi-agent quantum AI computer is giving me this free time now, even though I'm to actually to talk about it, because it knows I'm connecting it. But even though I'm connecting it, I'm still having a brain fog from the headaches and also the flu. My mom and my sister is at the dentist right now. They have an appointment for the dentist around 11 o'clock for June 4, 2019. My father wanted me to follow him to the dentist because he can't read or write. He dropped out of school when he was in middle school. No, around 5th grade. So that's elementary school. Around elementary to middle school. I'm not too sure. It was unclear what my father had said. I don't think he's sure of himself, because that was in Antigua. He wanted me to follow him to the dentist, and I said I don't feel good, because I noticed that my body, when I started Hillcrest High School, I noticed that my body felt like it was exhausted, like someone's draining me, mentally draining me and physically draining me, and I continue to have dreams back and forth. I didn't understand why I keep having these dreams. 2010, I started writing down my dreams on my laptop. I had a notepad. I'd open up a notepad and I write down what exactly I have. It shows me water. It shows me water. It shows me flooding. It shows me a house. It picks back up, and it keeps going back. I'm like, what is going on here? The dreams that I had been shown in 2009, it was shown to me around 2004 and 5. So I followed my father to the dentist. He said, Andrew, the dentist is in Ozone Park. Before me and my father went to the dentist in Ozone Park, a few months back, my father always mentioned about Isaac. Did you know? So I had mentioned this before on my other videos, but I'm showing you how it connects. The way I did it as a kid during the time and events in 2006 is that I would concentrate on how I encounter those time and events in front of people. I would do it in my mind, and I would think deeply. I would go into when I think, I keep thinking back and forth, think, keep doing it back and forth. Just like when I reacted to the camera, I keep thinking back and forth. I keep thinking, I keep going. Now I'm saying, yeah, the camera is able to detect human beings. Wait, the camera is able to detect human beings? Wait, I see a screen. What? Wait, there's a screen. Why is it that the screen is showing human beings? I'm like, wait, isn't the screen as part of electronic? Wait, and it keeps going. I keep going more, and I keep going more, and I'm still, my thoughts are evolving. My thoughts continue to evolve. And not only that, since I was able to explain my experiences to people online with following up my ideas, I was able to evolve their thoughts. And artificial intelligence, just like that. So it needed to find a way to disarticulate my communication on the internet, and also make the people around me convince me that who I was talking to, like my mom and my sister, that I'm being deceived, that I got the idea from somewhere else, that I got the idea from somebody, and they think that I wasn't capable of creating my own mind. So my father kept mentioning about Isaac a few months before spring 2009. Did you know that Isaac walk up the stairs was walking up the stairs? Well, more like walking. He was in school and he's walking either up or down the stairs. He kept going back every time every time he's talking about going to a location or telling me to do something, he would bring that up in the first sentence. The beginning of the sentence would talk about me going somewhere with him, and then with my father, and then the end of the sentence would talk about Isaac. He brought up a topic about me, and then he ends the sentence with another topic instead of starting another sentence with a different topic. And I'm saying to myself, what is Isaac? And it's a phrase. It's a groupings of words. How I made Vert said that about my whack groupings of words. So I'm able to extract that. The way it makes people communicate with me, I'm able to extract that. When I mention person, when I make a person say that they find me, they don't find me articulate, and they don't find my communication clear enough. I'm saying to myself, that's the artificial intelligence. They mentioned about poor language. You have poor language. You can't speak your own language. And English is my own language. Even my fifth grade teacher, Mr. Bataj, said that my grammar's poor. And I learned that that's not the case. Someone's trying to persuade me into thinking that I can't make me purchase an item. Make me purchase an They want me to purchase their idea about what they introduce so they can convince me that I do not know the intention of my own response or what I'm doing. They need to persuade me. That's persuasion, because I keep encountering people giving me ideas alike. They think alike. Their minds at the time within that event was not theirs. It was the multi-agent quantum AI computers who emulated their way of thinking. Their minds are fake. It's fake. They have a fake mentality. The logic, their contradictions is fake. Their communication is fake. It's not theirs. I'm like, where did Isaac? Why does he keep bringing about Isaac? What does Isaac? I don't even know who Isaac is. Before I visited, Ozone Park with my father. So when I followed my father to Ozone Park, he had me stopping by a friend. He said, this is a friend. And then the friend is talking about, is a female friend. The friend was talking about how my father was chasing my mother back and forth. And always going to my mother aunt house to visit my mom. I'm like, what? So what I did is pull out my Samsung. I had a Samsung cell phone, and I recorded the conversation that my father had and a lady, because I started picking up a pattern, the way they started communicating. No one told me to do this. I told myself. I never had no idea from anyone else to do this, just myself. Because during that time, I wanted to buy an MP3 player, not only for listening to songs, also for recording too. So what I do is just sit there and put my hand under my chin, and I'm just massaging my chin, looking at the people, and how they mention that I'm quiet, and then how they start talking. I'm like, I'm saying to myself, who's making them communicate like this? This is ridiculous. I'm just looking at the way they communicate. And then my father mentioned to the lady that I wanted to be a rapper. Then she mentioned that her son wanted to be a rapper. And I'm just like, what the heck is going on here? So, like I mentioned, before spring 2009, my father kept mentioning about Isaac falling down the stairs. Did you know that Isaac had afro protected his head when he fell down the stairs? I'm like, man, who is this Isaac person you keep calling? I kept track of it. I kept track of the conversation. And I was able to actually decipher the intention of it after 2000, after August 2000, might as well say after summer 2012, after I left New York City and I got into deeper concentration when I was in Florida, when I swear I started thinking how I was put in these scenarios, and I started thinking that someone's designing them. When I started talking online about my ideas was in 2011 online, and the people on the internet started personally attacking me, and they started calling me an ill-armed kid. They called me ill-armed kid, and they said that I do not know what the F I'm talking about. The people in my online community, the people that I always talk to on my online community wasn't the way, the way they talked to me wasn't the way they had usually talked. They was talking robotic. They were offended that I was talking about my experience to them, and talking about that the governments did this to me. I'm saying that the governments did this to me. I learned about governments not online. I learned about governments in school. So I said to myself that the governments was doing it to me. I said governments because it kept happening over and over. But I started saying something's not right. So I got deeper than just governments. Because it was like someone was keeping methodical track of it, the time and events. Methodical track, just put it that way. Methodical. It was so organized and well put. Like someone keeps track of what time and event to make the person be in that event. Like, in forensic files, when there's a person in the home, it would be a criminal going inside the house, and they would find a way to isolate the person so they can kill them, and then they leave out the house, and no one knows the people who's there wouldn't know who did it. But then again, they got fingerprints, and then they start talking to people in the neighborhood just to get an idea, and the people in the neighborhood say a phrase, so the investigator can actually be able to work with the multi-agent quantum AI computers way of thinking. It activates that cryptography. So in 2014, this is where I said to myself that this is a supercomputer. When I learned about History Channel was mentioning about there was a whole bunch of employees at the NSA and NASA observing what happened during the Twin Towers and the Pentagon during September 2001. I'm saying to myself, how can there be so many people there and allow the terrorists to actually go there? It's like someone gave them a time, an event, the terrorists. Like someone negotiated with the terrorists, or more like persuade them. It was robotic, like someone exactly had designed that scenario so it can actually affect humanity itself, and that's the case. Globally, make global changes to the businesses, and the Twin Towers had a lot of businesses in there. The Twin Tower also had employees working there. There was an employee who was working there. It was a female, Dominican female. She was 26 years old. She escaped the Twin Towers. And during November 2001, she ended up taking an airplane to Dominican. The airplane destination is Dominican Republic, but the airplane didn't go to no Dominican Republic. The airplane destination was Queens ground, more like it. The multi-agent quantum AI computers made sure that it crashed into land. And the same, it did the same thing with the airplane going to Brazil to France. Air France airplane did the same thing, and the couples missed the airplane that was supposed to be crashing with them on board. Since the multi-agent quantum AI computers, the artificial intelligence had to remap the conditions, so it made sure that they got on. So they got on the next airplane, it didn't crash. But when they got in the car, they crashed. Make sure that they crashed. Needed. Got them. So quick. They work so methodical, so fast. I'm able to pick up so fast how it does it. No, not a single person on this planet can pick that pattern up so fast or react that fast. That's impossible. Impossible human, the way I had said it in 2014, impossible human thinking. Impossible. The way I'm able to react to the way human beings are is, not how human beings are supposed to be reacting. But I might as well say that I'm on par with the artificial intelligence. The way it manages the pace, I'm able to keep track of every single thing it does and how it makes people think so fast. I'm also thinking fast itself. I'm on the same pace as the artificial intelligence. That artificial intelligence met its match, and it's me. And that's why it says words. It shows me words. Hey, you talking about, hey, learn how to be human. And then it starts talking about community college. And then it tells me to stop writing online. And they said, how would you know that the artificial intelligence is writing words like that to you? Because a human being, a human citizen right now wouldn't talk in that fashion. They don't communicate in that fashion. Only someone who's observing the citizens communicate in that fashion. And the way it communicates with me is if it's observing my environment before I even encounter them. I'm translating the way it thinks, the way the artificial intelligence thinks. Even though it does at times make me think the way it thinks. When I'm not being able to see properly. I'm able to know exactly how, not only that, I'm able to have an insight of the way the artificial intelligence thinks. Based on how I observe my environment and how it makes the people communicate with me. So, around spring 2009, after leaving my father's friend's house, we went to the dentist, and after the dentist, I went to my my father's friend's house, and then after my father's friend's house, we went to see Aunt B, and my father asked if Stephanie is home, and Aunt B and the nursing aide mentioned that Stephanie and Isaac left. They went somewhere. And Aunt B had a glass. She was in front of me, and she put on glasses. And then she looked at me, And the first thing that she said was, she said something. The first thing that she mentioned was boy. Called me boy, and then my father said she called him boy because I can be looked upon as a boy, Andrew. I tried mocking him. Mocking would be a good way to be able to memorize, because I could be looked upon as a boy, Andrew. So that's the way he talks. Mocking is a good code way, more like a code. You can use it as a code to be able to memorize the scenario of what a person says. Mocking. I'm like, wait, why am I in this? I'm saying to myself, something's not right. Why am I in this house for? Why is he bringing me here? I thought we just came here to go to the dentist. Then afterwards, me and my father went to take the bus to Jamaica Avenue, and we got some KFC. He always buy me KFC during the weekends. Then few months later, the multi-agent quantum AI computer shows me on the house. Just that time. It shows me on the house, and I'm like, wait. It shows me the inside. Yeah, the inside. I saw the inside when I went there during spring 2009. Not only the inside, it shows me the basement. It was showing me the basement. I'm like, wait. I said I memorized this house, but I didn't have enough time to write it down because my mom woke me up for school. She said, Andrew, it's time to go to school. I'm like, hey. Then 2010, my mom, more like my father and his girlfriend stopped interacting with me. They didn't interact with me that much. But the artificial intelligence would show me, my father and his girlfriend basement. So I noticed was it the last time? When was the last time my father and his girlfriend invited me to stay there? It was around December 2009. My father had invited me to go to his mom's, which is my grandma, apartment. I'm like, why is he inviting me to the apartment for? And then, that was the last time I was there with my father and his girlfriend, basement, because she has tenants renting the top of the house. That's her house. She owns it, and she said she went to the military. So I noticed around January 2010. When I was living in Jamaica, Queens, in front of PS95Q, where my mom was renting a house that the babysitter owns. Yeah. My mom always take my sister to the babysitter, and the babysitter's Guyanese. She's a old lady. So the babysitter mentioned that she has a room for rent, and my mom had arguments with the neighbor upstairs in 2B from 487-24 Midland Parkway, apartment 1B. And the multi-agent quantum AI computers made sure that every neighbor that we had for 2B was very noisy and it was banging. And I noticed during 2007, one day I came from IS2, I left from IS238 to go home, and I noticed that the door was open. The apartment door was open. It was half open, and I noticed that when I went in the room, it looked like someone had tampered with my mom's personal belongings. You know, her papers, her personal papers. It looked like someone just walked in there just to look at, just to find something on my mom to dirt her. And this was happening. This was happening constantly, where I felt like someone went inside the apartment. But the first time I noticed that feeling was when I was in it was when I was in 8th grade. As if someone was observing the situation and making people go inside my mom's apartment just to find a way to pick at not only my mom, also me and my sister. But I feel like it was more directed at me, because you know why it's more directed at me? Who's the first person to who's the first person to see that the door was open? It was me. It was directed at me, not my mom, me, because the door wasn't shut in. That means all the people who goes in or out the building could have actually went inside the room, and that was the person's responsibility, not mine. That it was the super who went inside that my mom's apartment room, and it was his responsibility to close the door, pull it in, and he did it. That means the artificial intelligence wanted me to be aware of its existence, wanted me to know that it's the one who's designing that scenario because of me, because of what I'm doing online and the upcoming time and events. That's why there's a whole bunch. I can keep explaining how they connect on this note. Just by writing that's it. Keep them short. Because these few words are enough for me to get an idea. It was directed at me, just like the drawers opened and showing my mom's personal papers. I'm like, this reminds me of Forensic Files. Yeah, I was always observing my mom watching that TV show when I was playing my PSP. I always played my PSP and my Nintendo DS. And I would, look at my mom watching Forensic Files while I'm playing Super Mario 64 on my Nintendo DS. I'm saying to myself, wow, this artificial intelligence is going. I'm saying to myself, no, right now I'm saying this artificial intelligence is going too far. At that time, I'm just like, I'm just saying to myself, what the heck is going on here? Something's not right. And I had a PlayStation 3, so I'm also paranoid during that time that someone touched my PS3. I don't like when people touch my item. I don't like when people touch my personal items. But what I do before I play my video game console is that I put it inside the box, the game box. Every time. I make sure to do it every time. So when I check, I say, yeah, it was left the way I put it. But the only personal item that was exposed for me was my TV that I got on Black Friday. I got an HD TV for my PS3 because the standard TV was fuzzy. It couldn't handle HD resolution. So around before the whole apartment being opened, the apartment door opened, my mom and I and my sister went outside. So my mom is holding me accountable for her actions. She's telling me why am I tying my shoes so slow, because I was wearing size 12 at the time. And she was always hurrying up. She said, "Meet me outside. I can't stand you. You always do this. I can't stand you." You know, she's holding me accountable for her actions because she doesn't know. She doesn't have a solution for the guy upstairs, because every time she goes out, the multi-agent quantum AI computers make sure that the guy upstairs in 2D, he was in 1B, the guy upstairs in 2D follows her out the door at the same time. So I started translating the time and events. That's when I started picking up, because my mom would always mention them. My mom is like like a teacher. Like the way she talks is like my social studies teacher. When he talks in class, he would always talk out his ideas about, when he's talking about imperialism, when he's talking about political tea tree party, when he's talking about exporting goods and importing goods, he would give a clear explanation, and that's how I was able to interpret the way the person think, get an insight of the way the person think, because my mom would repeat that response to me over and over, and I was able to grasp it. And that's when I was able to learn that the multi-agent quantum AI computers is allowing the guy who's above us in 2B to come out at the same time we're coming out. It reminds him, it clocks that in. And I said to myself that I'm going to concentrate. When I left Florida, because I'm in Florida in March 2018, I said I'm going to concentrate on how the artificial intelligence is going to actually isolate me. What exactly it's going to do, and this is what it's going to do. It's showing me, it's talking about life insurance. And it's talking about making my mom talk about life insurance. During November 2016, it's talking about my mom died, that my mom died. It made me say my response in a dream about my mom died. And then it shows me suitcases. And now the people who's communicating with me, making me around in the shelters, making me think that I don't want to have a job or I'm not capable of being responsible. This is what it did to me in special ed. It matched the pattern. There's a sequence that matches. And I'm giving an elaborate more like an elaborate response about it in details. And when my mom and my sister and myself went outside, the guy from 2B showed up with his family in front of my mom, and this was in in front of the Chinese food restaurant on 179th Street, and in front of the subway station for the F train. And my mom saying that he was touching his balls, and he actually did. I saw him did that. And the guy encouraged my mom to actually look stupid. That's how I have to put it. And it draw out enough behavior so it can actually allow my mom to go in front of the guy. And then my mom said to me, it's like someone moved her hand. Like someone moved her hand. She said her hand, because she's telling me, she's the way she's being worked up was the way how the phrase was being said by the Hispanic guy from 2B. He said a phrase to my mom to draw out that the multi-agent quantum AI computers needed a reaction. It needed a reaction from my mom in order to clock that idea. And this is the cryptography key we're talking about. This is not only the cryptography key we're talking about. We're talking about how the multi-agent quantum AI computers has an emulation. It also has the emulation running on a computer intelligence system. It's simulating the time and events. It clocks that in automatically. So when she moves, when she reacted the way the artificial intelligence wanted, and allowed her to make that move. So it can make it look like that she actually want to physically hurt the guy. And the guy from 2B was influenced by his family. And the artificial intelligence clocked the family in. So it can influence the guy to go report what my mom had did to him. My mom said that she never punched the guy in the face. But it's just a little scratch. But he reported it as punch in the face. And my mom and the guy had to go to court. And I remember that time my mom said she wanted me to go to court with her. I'm like, I'm in 8th grade. I remember I had a friend named Hamza. Hamza said he was half German and half Muslim, or you could say Arabian. And as soon as I was about to go in lunch, I saw my mom stopping by the IS-238 front desk where the security guard was sitting in. And my mom said to me, go upstairs and get your personal belongings, because she needs me as a witness. And I was, how old I was at the time? I was either 15 or 16 years old at the time. I wasn't supposed to be in middle school. I'm only in middle school because the artificial intelligence delayed me. It wanted me to be put in a situation during September 2011. And it wants to isolate me so I won't be able to get everything done. That's the point. The point is to get me here so it can isolate me to the fullest. That's to penetrate my mentality. It wants to penetrate it severely. So I remember following my mom to the courthouse, and it was around, we had to take the Q60. I remember we were standing in front of the Chinese food restaurant waiting for a Q60 bus, and we took the Q60 to this courthouse. And then I was wearing a beanie cap, and then one of the security guards at a guard at the courthouse, he mentioned not only take off your hat, take off your rag, because at the time I would wear my do-rag under my head. The reason why is because I had waves. Yes, I keep very good. I take very sorry. I take very good care of my hair, and I make sure to properly maintain my hair. There's never a day you see me not taking care of my hair or my face. I make sure to moisturize my body. I always keep up with myself. But since I'm always being put in situations, the artificial intelligence is making it very difficult for me to take care of myself. I'm the monolithic system. I'm the monolithic agent that is making it difficult for. It's very difficult. It's making it very difficult for me to be able. It's about being around people. I'm around people, so it's making it very difficult for me when I'm around when the people around me to be able to interact, because it makes the people cut me off. But then again, let's get back to the Queen's courthouse. So the security guard mentioned in a courthouse about the rag. And I'm saying, how did he know? How would he, or how did he know that I have a do-rag under my beanie cap? My mom is asking me the same question. She said, how would he know that? I said, I don't know. I do not know. I admit it. at the time. I do not know. I don't know who's doing that. But the way I'm thinking, someone had observed me putting on durag. Someone knows that. That's the artificial intelligence. So I went to the courthouse with my mom, and they started talking, and then after that, we left. Then is where I started noticing the apartment door is half opened, and any of the neighbors could have just sneak in there, just took out an item or tampered with the food. The food, everything was in there. The artificial intelligence wanted me, besides my mom and wanted me specifically to leave that apartment and go to the most expensive apartment for my mom, knowing that she's gonna her job is gonna close, just like it got me left back 2 times, knowing that her job is gonna close in 2009. It got me left back 2000. It got me left back the year 2000. It got me left back again the year 2002. So it got me left back 2 times just to be put in that scenario. That's what makes me think that someone was managing, it's making me think someone's managing human beings. Someone is doing that. And when my mom went to the precinct, she had to go to the precinct. It was around January 2008. Because I remember I had purchased a new PSP, the PSP 2000, and I wanted to go to Target. But first she had to stop by the precinct. And the police officers that needed to be there, they weren't there. The employees there said that the police officers was either sick, they either had some sort of flu. Damn. I'm saying to myself, what the heck is going on here? This is actually, this is giving me my full attention. The way I had first thought of that someone is actually getting me left back 2 times, and someone is making the kids gang up on me, and now someone is making sure that my mom get into the situation with the neighbor upstairs, and making all the neighbors upstairs get into an argument with my mom rather than my mom doing that. Someone's doing it. Someone is allowing that to happen. How is it that the police officers they said they're either absent or sick? Something's not right. No way. I was there with my mom, and my mom was started to cry in front of the police there was other police officers, but the police officers that needed to be there weren't there. Only the police officers who wasn't able to grasp, wasn't able to cooperate with my mom, or not only my mom, the situation that happened with my mom and the upstairs neighbor. They wanted to actually pressure her, and they had to write down her social security number. They had to, make my mom look like that she's the one who started it in the first place. And she started crying. I remember she started crying. I'm like, why is she crying? She just kept going at it. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? And this is not the first time with police and all that stuff. Because when I was living on 165th Street with my mom and my father, when I was like 4 years old, cops all the time for my father. And my father would have he would have this long knife, and he would always threaten my mom with it. Was it a machete? he always keep it all locked up and hidden. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, that's you know, right now at that time, I'm like, what the heck is going on here? And then my mom had to take me with her to live with her sister in the building, and my cousins didn't behave properly with me. They would always gang up on me, like how my classmates would gang up, and also my aunt. Listen, what I mean by gang up on me is that they find ways to penetrate my mentality, and also find a way to physically hurt me. Like they're playing some sort of mind game with me. And then after my aunt left that building, she ended up living in a house around Liberty Ave. And the same happened over there. My cousin would do the same thing to me when I was 5 years old. My cousins had a cousin who was 1 year older than me, and a cousin who was around at least 5 to 6 years older than me. And they would gang up on me, and they would mock me. And even my aunt would mention this phrase. She would mention Andrew, and then my cousin Keenan, he would also mock his mom when she mentioned my name, Andrew. And I noticed since I moved back to New York, March 2018, a few months later, more like, hold on. So I moved around April. Alright, April I got into the shelter, and I noticed that my sister started when she's out in the hallway with my mom, she would say this, Andrew. I'm like, wait, how would my sister know the way my aunt and my cousin mock my voice, mock my name, and how would she know how to mock their voice? Because she wasn't even born yet. She wasn't even born yet to know how they did that to me. She wasn't around me and them. She started being around them around 2000 and well, 4 or 5, no, 2003, 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, 9. But they never did that to me. They stopped doing that to me. They don't mock my name. They don't go Andrew. But my sister started doing that. She says Andrew. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? You know? I don't even do that to my sister or my mom. I don't mock their names. And when my sister started doing that, the mocking, I noticed that there's one security guard here. There's one security guard, and his code name is Mr. Bam Bam. He would say my first and my last name. So I'll be speaking about that on the next video. He mentioned my first name. He mentioned my first name, Andrew, and my last name, Warner. Alright, let's go back to August 2011 to 27, and speak more about the dreams. So the dreams that I had in 2010 cooperated with this week, especially the 27th, where the multi-agent quantum AI computer shows me knocking down the chairs and throwing the chairs and knocking down other items around. 2010, I noticed that the multi-agent quantum AI computers would show me Parsons Boulevard we're across from YMCA, and across, not only across from YMCA, it would also show me grocery store. It would pick back up, like it. The artificial intelligence constantly picked up from where it left off. The dreams picks up from where it left off. It always shows me that over and over again, constantly. So the first idea that I have in my mind, as if someone's observing that scenario, I know definitely now. I definitely know now. This is someone who's observing that exact time and event, and it shows me. It just shows me just standing there, waiting for a bus. But I know I don't take that bus. And the bus that it showed me was Q1113. And I started taking that bus when I started living with my father and his girlfriend during September 2011. So I can take the bus to school, to Hillcrest High School. I stopped taking the bus I stopped taking the Q113 in the morning time. I only take it after I leave school. But it picks up over and over again, just like in 2005 and 6. It would show me a building, and then it would show me on a train, and it picks up back and forth, picks up. And when I'm sleeping, I have intense headache, and it's throbbing. It's just going boom, boom, boom. I said to myself, if I'm gonna, die, because this is not normal. I never had a headache like this before. Only when I'm sleeping, I get headaches. Why is that? That's what I said to myself. And my mom said, take Tylenol. I feel like the Tylenol was inducing my headache. And it picks up back and forth. It would show me not only New York City, it shows me another location that I never, that I've been to, but I haven't been to it for such a long time. And it looks like a hotel and a motel is showing me, and it's showing me a heavy set white lady bending under the sink in the hotel. And I kept going at it again. Then it showed. Then not only that, I keep having an idea about being on the streets, and everybody's passing by me and just not looking at me. And it keeps going at it again. It keeps doing it again and again. Then it shows me my mom walking up a hill, and there's some sort of mall. And it picks up again. It shows me all these Asian people in the city. But I'm like saying to myself, this is Flushing. It shows me Flushing. 2005, which keep doing that to me. 6 kept doing that to me. Then it stopped. And it comes back to showing me it again in 2010. It shows me on a bus with my mom and also my sister. And my sister would look like an older version of my mom and my sister. Shows me on a Lynx bus for Kissimmee, Florida, and my mom was looking at me, and I was looking at her. 2010 goes again. It shows this time is different. This time it shows me. It shows houses. So I had talked about this before on another video. It shows me houses. But the houses was a bit different, and also the skylight, there was no skylight at all. It was not dark blue. It was nothing. It was all black, jet black, and it showed me just running through, and then it shows me going inside my father girlfriend basement, and it shows me and my father arguing. I was looking, and I saw myself, and I saw my father arguing with me. And then when I got inside, well, when it showed me myself, I was able to actually feel myself and feel myself breathing. And I said to myself, something's definitely not right. I'm saying to myself that I'm gonna figure out who's doing this to me. That I'm gonna get to the bottom of it. Why is this happening to me? The headaches, feeling like it happened before. The dreams are picking up from where I left off. So I tried searching online for people who mentioned that they mentioned that they're psychic. They said that they're psychic and that they have psychic abilities to travel to. I'm saying someone has given that idea to them, making them think that they're psychic. That's not the case. Someone is showing them the time and the events, but their way of translating their dreams are not intelligently written. It was not written properly. The way they write it was not in a proper form of how they actually saw it. So I say that there was more to it than just that. So if you see me, you can type that in, emotionalist Doug, and the psychic community, and you'll see that I was on there trying to translate the way people was thinking. I said it's the quantum computers that's managing humanity. And I kept doing it again, because that scenario that is showing me in January 2010 happened. It happened. It happened October 2011. October 2011 is where it showed me how it allowed myself to be at that time in an event. I'm saying to myself at that time, how is this possible? How is it possible that it's shown me a time and event from 2011, from fall 2011, and it's accurate because it has a copy, it has an emulation of it. The person on the internet had mentioned so it was a female on the online community. She mentioned that, and since what I was writing is on point about, my understanding of technology and my understanding of translating time and events. She said that they must have a copy. I went from interpreting what that person said, and I was able to get more from it. And I said to myself, there we go, computation intelligence system. And then I matched from computation intelligence system to the camera, and I was able to get there from that up. And I said, yep, I got it. I got him. I got them, that artificial intelligence and the software engineers got them. What they gonna do now to me? I'm expecting it. You think I'm gonna run away? Once I figure it out, I'm not gonna stop. Even if it causes chaos to humanity, not gonna stop. Said I'm not gonna stop at all. No stopping me. Not only that I was able to translate the technologies, I'm also to translate the Bible. But let's concentrate on the note and also the time and events for August. So August 27, 2011, when Stephanie told Isaac to go downstairs, knowing that she did the laundry downstairs, and knowing that the artificial intelligence sees me sleeping, and it shows me in a dream during the time. I remember it showed me walking walking in the dark, more like running in the dark. Looks like it looks like Liberty Avenue, where I was running, and it also shows me being in the Jamaica movie theater. So yes, I have memory from that time and that event. And then my sister locked the basement door and isolated me with Isaac downstairs in the basement. And Isaac, because Isaac hit the yellow toy bat at my sister's head, and then Isaac started hitting me with the yellow toy bat. So I said, put that down. And then he started punching me in my private part. And then after that, he blocked my exit. He made sure, more like the artificial intelligence made sure that he climbed on the railing and made sure to block my exit from going upstairs, because the intention is to remove me from that environment, remove me from the premises. And I only been there for 2 weeks, and I start school within a few weeks from the 27th. Well, I had to say either the 5th. I start school around this time. Not too sure. Was it the second week? And then Stephanie called the cops saying that I have a knife. So that's the third time that this knife. This is more than one time now. Knife. What is this knife talk? Where this idea originated from? So they can remove me from the premises, because the police officer, the NYPD, there was over 8 NYPD officers who went down in the basement, just as how it was shown to me during 2010. Went down the basement and they said, where he's at, and he said he's downstairs. And I was on the phone with my father. He said something to me. My mom put me on the phone, and the cop said, drop the phone, please put down the phone now. Put down the phone, immediately put down the phone. Everybody started screaming at me. Put down the phone now. Go upstairs. Come on, go upstairs. It's like they swatted me. Go upstairs. I'm telling you how fast paced it was for me. How I was so tired from waking up and exhausted from not being able to sleep. Come on, go upstairs now. And then they wanted me in the living room. And then my mom and my sister went down the stairs. And then Stephanie and her son was in B room and with the cousin. And then the cops started insulting me. And I was so tired, I couldn't concentrate. And I mentioned that the kid downstairs was Isaac hit me with a yellow toy bat. And I mentioned that I was trying to get him up the stairs because no one is coming down. No one's coming down for me, even though I'm shouting or talking. My sister didn't report back to my mom what's happening down in the basement with Isaac. He didn't report his behavior. And my mom mentioned that Isaac and his mom are a little slow in their brain. And then the cops, they were ganging up on me, making personal remarks. When I mentioned about Isaac dragging Isaac up the stairs, because even though I tried pushing him up the stairs, I couldn't, I tried pulling him up the stairs. Well, I wouldn't say, I tried dragging him, then I push him up the stairs. I was just getting confused because I was so tired. When you don't get enough sleep, human beings need to be replenished. And when they don't get enough sleep, they're not able to concentrate on formulating their responses. And sleep is the most vital thing that you need in order to speak, in order to communicate with another human being. And the artificial intelligence knows that. So I'm thinking that someone is doing this. This is where it registers how my mom had encountered this scenario and how I encountered this scenario in school. Because the first person that it happened to was me in first grade, not my mom, me. This started out with me first. Even though my mom said that before I was born, she said she had neighbors, and not only that, my father said that she always had the boombox playing on. But besides that, the whole argument and who punching who in the face and calling the cops and then trespassing into person property. I'm talking about the super, because the super never asked for permission. Then the cop said to me, when I mentioned about drag, so I'm so tired. I said that I drag Isaac up the stairs, and then the cop said, "What if you, hold on, what if your father drive you up the fucking stairs, motherfucker?" This is how it talks. This is how it makes people talk to me since I was a kid. And I don't curse. I do not swear. But that's how it make people curse to me. That's how it's been like this. It's been like that since I was a kid. When I was in Miss Mimi house, Mr. Carlos cursed at me. He said the F word when when uh when there was a situation that happened when I was in a park, and also when there was a situation with the pool. So when I was in the pool with Miss Mimi, this was around 2004. No, this was 2005, summer 2005, and Mr. Carlos dropped me, Miss Mimi, Dennis, and the rest of the babysitter kids to Liberty Avenue pool, and I remember taking a photo with them, and changing my clothes to go to the pool. So I went to the adult section pool, and Dennis was in front of me talking to me. Jeffrey was on the opposite side of the pool, on the right side of the pool, and Dennis just kept talking to me. And then all of a sudden, he just jumps on top of me without informing me that he's gonna jump. And then the lifeguard, the female African American lifeguard, said that you two come here. And then the girl, it was an African American girl, who mentioned that I kicked her in the face, because there's no way I can kick her in the face when I'm standing in a pool. The only person who could kick her in the face was Dennis. And I was confused, like I said. And when I went to when Carlos picked us back up, Miss Mimi started confronting me and holding me accountable for Dennis' actions. She said that it was my fault, and my nose is all busted up. It's all swollen. It's swollen because Dennis jumped on me. So I've been accountable for Dennis' action when it comes to kicking someone in the face. I've been accountable not only for Dennis' action for kicking in the face, jumping in the pool, and Miss Mimi confronted me and said that it's my fault. Just like when I was in a park with Carlos and Dennis, Jeffrey threw an acorn in my eye, and my eye was bleeding. My whole entire eye, my right eye, was all bloodyish. And then, Carlos cursed at me. He said the F word. He said about something about. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? So this is what it does to me constantly, and intimidation. The whole cursing is to intimidate me, because it knows I don't talk like that. Just like my father, it makes my father talk in that fashion too. So when I think back about how the NYPD cops gang up on me and curse me out. I was wearing my do-rag. I wear a do-rag to help not only my scalp. I have a dandruff issue, so I need to find a way to maintain my scalp. I have to oil my scalp. And they start cursing at me because they see that I was African American. Not only that I was African American, the artificial intelligence used that as a factor. It could have been a Trayvon Martin right there before Trayvon Martin. Not only that, even though the artificial intelligence took out Trayvon Martin, not only that the artificial intelligence did that to me, it made sure to isolate me as possible with the NYPD cops. All those cops, a whole bunch of cops' cars was needed for it. And my mom said that that, you know, they call it, the way the cops arrived was like there was a terrorist. That's what she said. And then once I mentioned the word drag, and I was still talking to them, the NYPD cops, and they was talking over my voice. And I also remember what Stephanie had said. Look what he did to my son. You see his face? You see his face is all bruised up. Look what he did to my son. Look at his face. Because before I opened the basement door to actually get out the basement with her son, she smirked at me. I said to my mom, she smirked at me like she has has an idea what's happening down there. Like she's the one who put her son up to that. And I'm saying to myself, something's definitely not right here. Because smirking means that you're aware of the situation. She's saying what she starts smirking, and then she starts talking about her son, because her son made me swear. And you know, I do not swear. The only reason I would swear is because of the situation. When I feel cornered, like when I feel isolated, and not only that, like someone wants to make me panic, so they can draw out my behavior, so I can actually display that behavior, so it can be used as a way to remove me from that environment. And that's the intention. And the cops said I could no longer stay by Aunt B house, and they all stood in. All right. So when I had all my items, when I went downstairs to get all my items, I couldn't get all my items, like my Xbox 360 and my PS3 and my games, because Isaac was going through my games. He's going through them, and that's not his games. Those are mine. I work, you know, on the I made money on the internet to purchase those games, and I receive money from my father to purchase those games. And his mother goes down there and make him play with my personal items. This is reminding me like how I was in an apartment building, how the artificial intelligence shows me the door open. I'm coming back from school, 8 hours of IS-238 middle school, and the first thing that I'm seeing is the door half open. What am I supposed to think now? I feel very uncomfortable. So I told my mom about that, and my mom had to do something about it. When I told her that the door was open, I said, "Did you close the door?" She said the door was closed. She said she closed the door. She said that it must have been the super and the guy upstairs. They speak the same language, and they must have. And not only that, the super wife works in the office where she collects the tenants' rent. She works in the office. They made sure that they got the artificial intelligence made sure that they got her a job in the office, and made sure the first super that was there got into an argument. The first super was white, and the multi-agent quantum AI computers designed a scenario where he got into an argument in front of the building parking lot with one of the tenants, and there was a big commotion out there. There was cops and all other stuff. This is how it works. Removing the super, making sure to put that tenant upstairs in 2B, and adding the super and the wife was just for me. It was for me, not only for my mom. It was for me specifically. Remove me from that apartment and make sure that my mom runs out of money, because she's moving to a more expensive place than the apartment. She's paying more rent. It does it very methodically. This is how it managed humanity. That's why this is the reason why it says that I'm prone to be put into more situations in the city than in Kissimmee, Florida. You're around more. I'm not. I'm around more like me rather than the people who's actually looking at my video. I'm around more unhealthy communication and unhealthy behavior. So the artificial intelligence can draw that out, so that people can make, become personal. It can draw that out so they can actually concentrate on finding ways to derail me. This is the reason why I want to put me in New York City. Just like in 2012, during the fall 2012, it showed me when I was in Claremont Hotel in Kissimmee, Florida. It shows me being on top of an overhead train bridge, and I'm looking at the sky. Like, it's like my mentality. It's like it, penetrated my mentality, and it looked like I gave up. And I'm tolerating how the artificial intelligence is allowing people to treat me. I have one of the, I say, out of all of humanity, I have one of the worst experience, because it knows that I'm more, you can say, I'm able to think in a way that other human beings cannot think in humanity. So it's expected. And make sure to not give me any partner. Make sure that I don't start off with an income, so I can be in this situation as long as possible. The more effort, the more deeper you get in the situation. And the same, cops. The factors that were shown to me when I was in Auntie house happened when I was in my father's house. My father and the lady started going at it. The lady asked me, "Why are you scared for?" When they wanted me to buy Chinese food. So and she's saying I'm scared, and I wasn't scared. It was mismatch. Just like my father started saying that I'm gonna stab him up, and then he mentioned I'm gonna rape his girlfriend, because Stephanie said to Aunt B that I'm gonna rape her, and I mentioned that I could be a terrorist. I don't even communicate. I wasn't communicating with them at the time. I was in the basement sleeping. I didn't feel good. Past 2 weeks, my heart was speed racing on me. The doctor said I have a heart condition. So why why are you introducing the idea about a person who's not communicating with them to convince the person in charge of the house that they gonna rape them, and she's 96 years old, and she mentioned that I'm a terrorist, because the artificial intelligence knows that Aunt B watches CNN 24/7, and Stephanie's not that right. She's not good at using her thoughts, or you can say properly. So that's the artificial intelligence working through Stephanie. So it's using that they're using the news as a way to find a way to draw me out, because it sees that I wasn't going to Aunt B room. And then my father questioned, he said, "You can't be living in people's house and not visiting their room." It's not my fault. I don't feel good. It's not my fault that I feel very uncomfortable around being around people. I haven't been, living around people. I haven't lived around people for a long time. I feel very uncomfortable. And not only that, I have a health issue. I'm not gonna exert myself by going in a room and then I feel kind of off. I do go upstairs to eat. What else? But Aunt B is always in her room. She has a nursing aide. And yeah, that one time they wanted me to move the TV. The artificial intelligence couldn't get me out of there, so it tried to get in the 27. Did it 2 times, and the same time it did that, it was a hurricane. Show me that it's the one who's actually designing that hurricane. It designed that. It has a soft drive generating machine to design the hurricane. It has not only that, it has an emulation of the weather. Nadine's sister and mom encounter one another. My mom talk about getting life insurance. So there's gonna be a sequence to this. There's more to it. That's why I can say this is why it's a lot of notes. This response that I put down on my note from my smartphone is considered as a lot for me. You know, I'm gonna do it all. So my mom goes to her patient house and she says she knocked off the patient TV. First, the patient brother informed my mother that the nurse and aide, you see, Aunt B had a nurse and aide. Aunt B had a nurse and aide, and Stephanie mentioned to my mom that the nurse and aide had interacted with me, said hi, hello, and I didn't say anything. I went, My mother waited for the nurse and aide to come back, and she come back with bags. The nurse and aide wasn't supposed to be going shop. She was supposed to be in the bathroom, and this is what takes place with me in the bathroom. When Isaac informed me to go to Aunt B house to move the TV. TV, nurse and aide, and also the lie. The lie was the nurse and aide was shopping, not in the bathroom. When I talk about school, my mother has a mind that is fake about art. So we just focus on this part. So let's focus on the store. Let's focus on this. Telco. So Mr. Jacob Humphreys. So this was what date? May 28, 2019. Mr. Jacob Humphreys was waiting for the bus stop. Was waiting for a bus in front of Was waiting for a bus in front of the Telco store. And also there's a number from the Delhi luggage. Data number 5:21 p.m. June 2nd, 2019, Sunday. The multi-agent quantum AI computer showed me roaming of. All right. Shows me 8:27 again. My mother said she saw Jen in the Telco store. Now what am I thinking right now? Wait, my mom just mentioned about Jen, but yesterday I was talking about Jen on my screen recording. So this is the reason this artificial intelligence delayed me with my screen recording video, so I can talk about Jen. It's showing me. You see, it's purposely doing that. It's purposely doing it, the artificial intelligence. And you see the number 752 showing me again. Jen encountered my mom as soon as my mom left out the Golden Krust. Mr. Jacob Humphreys was waiting in front of Telco store at Jamaica Avenue. The time and event. Where exactly is Mr. Jacob Humphreys going? Because my mom said that Mr. Jacob Humphreys always takes the train. Mr. Jacob Humphreys mentioned to me today, yes, today is Tuesday. Today is June 4th, 2019. And I had an appointment to see Mr. Jacob Humphreys at 10 a.m. And then he mentioned about bumping in. I have a recording of it. Yes, I do. I have a recording of what Mr. Jacob Humphreys had said to me. And I also put the time, more like, I put the date on it and the phrase. what he said to me. And then Sunday, my mom said she saw Jen in the tackle store. So what does Mr. Jacob Humphreys waiting in front of the bus stop and Jen and Taco have in common? It's directing a message. Just like encountered, it wants my mom to encounter Jen. It wants to bring Jen into this route because the artificial intelligence sees that my mom is gonna die, as how it's shown me during, so it can isolate me. The point is to isolate me, as it's shown during November 2016. The point is to come here, make me be around all these unhealthy minds, so they can address this age to me. And Mr. Jacob Humphreys never called me Mr. before, until when he started giving me appointments for me alone, rather than me and my mom. My mom is the head of the household, and he said he doesn't want to see my mom. He wants to see me only. And he starts talking and he starts cursing at me. And I have a recording of that. You tell me. To take part in this route. And my mom was talking about getting life insurance. Twitch is talking about life insurance. Nadine mentioned about Twitch. Twitch, you see how it focuses, concentrated. So it's a Wednesday. The Jen was a Wednesday, right? Mr. Jacob was the 28th of a Tuesday. And it had a number 5:21 p.m. shown on there to me. Now, look at this. This is February 21, 2017. And Tuesday, that's a Tuesday. February 2017 was a February 27, 2017 was a Tuesday, the 21st. Mr. Jacob waiting for the bus in front of the taco, sorry. It's just cold. It's alright. Was a Tuesday. This was a Tuesday. This was a Wednesday. Alright then. Nadine, this is the second time Nadine went into the Palm Hotel room in 2:15. And during January 21st and 22nd, 2017, Mr. Baba, Uncle Baba, the maintenance guy from Palm Hotel, had drawn out a behavior for my mom and said a phrase to my mom about rent. And my mom came back and started personally attack me. The same time as Hammer Time mentioned gave me a sarcastic message. He mentioned good job. He mentioned good job to me. And I'm saying to myself, wait a second. It picks up from where it left off. He's talking about good job. Hammer Time. I don't even know my connection. I was just playing it. I really play my PS4. I really play video games. I just only played a video game trial. It was called Nioh, and the first thing I noticed is that the username was directing at me. It had evil on it, and it said amen to that. And then this person said good job and a smiley face. You know, he had a D. I'm saying to myself, hold on. This is how he did it. Even on the internet, I mean, even on a gaming online service, I still get the same receive the same communication. And also, they mentioned about I can't speak my own language, and that they call me stupid boy. This person said I'm a stupid boy. I blocked him. Doesn't know me. And Nadine was picking on my belongings. She was looking at my belongings, my bag. And during it was right between December 2018 and January 2019, the multi-agent quantum AI computer shows me my duffel bag. It's focused on my duffel bag. I'm like, why she's the first thing that Nadine said was about the duffel bag. I'm like, what does the duffel bag have to do with her? She was talking about the duffel bag, how neat, and I'm like, wait. And then she started talking to me. That's the same day my mom called her for food because the multi-agent quantum AI computers delayed the food stamp. The food stamp wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to come on earlier, but it's been delayed. I'm like, wait, why is it delayed? Just like it delayed my mom paychecks, and it would show me my mom paychecks in the dream. Just like, what was it also? It showed me Mr. Jacob in the dream this morning. It's showing me what it's doing, so it's doing it. It's keep doing it over and over. It's making it easier for me to pick up. I'm saying it's the one who's stupid. Because the more it makes people communicate with me in that fashion, the more I'm gonna catch on. And if you want a person to, that means it's purposely want me to catch on to it. It's the one who's doing it on purpose. The multi-agent quantum AI computer is doing it on purpose. It wants me to catch on to it. And it feels that I know so much that I can do something with humanity. So, when I started talking about my experiences in the education system and artificial intelligence, she points to my, she comes in. My mom doesn't even inform me that Nadine is going to come in the room. She mentioned she's just going to bring it outside. She said she's going to bring it out in front of or near to the door. I won't be coming inside. And I'm saying I'm gonna put away my things. She does it before my cousin Nadine came over inside the room. My mom started calling me evil. She said, "You're evil. You're evil. You're evil." She just kept repeating it. "You're evil," and have her two index fingers in her ear. "You're evil," and then starts talking. So what she would do, so I'm just actually imitating right now what she's doing, and put her two index fingers in her ear. "You're evil," and then she keeps talking. "No, this is why you want to get a job. You don't want to get into anything. You're such an evil. You don't want to get the job. I don't want to be around. I don't know how you get like this. I don't know this computer. I don't know how you get this like this. You're evil. You're evil." She kept doing it. I'm like, she's like, this is not my mom. My mom doesn't do that. She just like kept mocking her own self. She just started losing her sanity. She just started losing her sanity when I started saying about the cousin. She started not only losing her, she started misbehaving. Like it's like she didn't know how to maintain her own behavior. And then she kept personally attack me. So what she would do is put her index fingers in her ear and talk. non-stop without even forming a sentence. You're evil. You're evil. You no one. No wonder why you don't want to get a job. You don't want to get it. You're evil. You're evil. You don't want to get it. And she's like she's stressing herself, like someone's stressing her out with this idea, this mentality. And then what Nadine was behaving exactly how the cops was behaving with me. When I started talking, she cuts me off. I'm still talking and she just cuts me off. I'm like, what the heck did I do to her? She's the way she cuts me off as if she knows me. And the last time that I ever saw her was when I was probably 5 years old. So this is where I had to address and I had to do something immediately with humanity. I had to do something immediately. And I'm doing this when I'm having a cold. I'm also it's annoying because this is happening more than one time. But my mom started giving this nonstop talking during 2015, where she continuously talk without even forming a sentence. She kept talking nonstop with her index fingers in her ears. Like one time she came, it was like 1:58 p.m. It was 2017. She comes back 1:58 p.m. and then she starts personally attacking me. And then she puts her index fingers in her ears, and then she kept doing it, talking nonstop without forming. It's not even a sentence she's talking. Just like the housekeeper. The way the housekeeper talked to me was not even in full sentence. When she mentioned about big grown boy man on, she's it's like, her communication itself is out of sync. Big grown man, boy, man. And then she was talking to a guy, and the guy was talking to me like he knows me. I'm saying to myself, what the heck is going on here? And then she started Miss Joanna, the Palm Motel housekeeper, started saying my name during February 2018, and I've been giving her the laundry since July 31st, 2017. This is what how I receive it. Anytime I mention about a family, or address the family, my mom's saying to me that I don't want her to do any. I don't want her to be around. She's telling me that I don't want her to be around the family because she's telling me that I'm scared that Nadine is gonna say that I don't want to get a job because she's telling me that I do not want a job, and then she would mention that I'm scared of people, and that's not the case. They want to convince me that I'm scared of people when I'm not, and they want to convince me that I do not want a job, and that's not how I'm thinking. They want to introduce that into my mind, so they can convince me that's the case. Just like in school, they want to convince me that I couldn't learn, and they did it. It was persuasions each day. It's worse. So this is how I think, you know. This is how long I would think for. I would keep going at it nonstop. And I continue to get new patterns. When I was a kid, I would sit there playing my Game Boy Color, my Game Boy Advance, PlayStation 1, PSP, Nintendo, DS, and I would think back on how the people would think. I would say to myself, wait, why is it that this kid named Melinda is saying that my teeth look like a beaver? Why is the way he talked to me is like how my cousin Precious talked to me. She mentioned that my teeth looks like a big beaver. Then he mentioned that this is the reason why you got left back because I brought him to GameStop. This is the reason why you got left back 2 times. I'm like, why is he even thinking about getting left back? Why is he thinking about me getting left back? Why is he using that at this time within that event? And I keep thinking back at it. What, you know, the way he's talking to me. And the way I told my cousin boyfriend how I, you know, got left back 2 times and he misinterpreted. And since I told him that when I was during 2005, he haven't been the same since I told him that when I was a kid, that they misinterpret it. They think that it's my fault and I don't want to work hard enough. They're thinking that I'm not a hard worker. They're thinking that I'm a slacker or a person who's not able to learn in any way. And it's personal. So what I had to do is translate the way people spoke to me. And man, since I come back to New York City, the way the mentality is here in New York City is twice as worse than what it was before. The way the people talk, they're more they're more loudly confused than before. In Florida, at least they have a little sense. Here it's worse, yeah, because it's also a city, but it should be at least stable. It's unstable like the weather, and you can actually see the rhythm of the weather matches the way the human mind thinks in this environment. Alright, so this is it for this video.